Hey everyone, this is Kelvin. Welcome to episode 46 of Rez Metal Podcast. On this episode, I talk with Gabe Colhoff of 1876. If you haven't heard 1876, they are one of probably the only band that I know of considered Pow Wow Punk Rock. Gabe Colhoff is originally from Montana, from Northern Cheyenne, Blackfeet tribes, and currently out of Portland, Oregon. 1876 began releasing music in August 2020 with Pow Wow Punk Rock 1, and last year Pow Wow Punk Rock 2 came out in June of 2021. And then during my talk, Gabe does mention there is plans for Pow Wow Punk Rock 3 this year. Along the way, there are also singles that Gabe has been releasing, and also he'll be releasing one pretty soon. I think this Friday he'll be releasing a single called Great Escape, so be on the lookout for that. I was really thankful that Gabe reached out to me. I wasn't familiar with 1876 at the time, but since I've started listening, I'm just a big fan. I grew up going to powwows, dancing at powwows, so hearing the powwow drums and the powwow dancers, bells and jingles in the back of the music, just really gets me fired up. And along with that, the kind of like the lyrical content is very much influenced by Gabe's tribal background and upbringing. And so just again, really thankful for Gabe reaching out to me. And also again, shout out to Metal Cave Zine for recommending, people to come out and talk to me. So if you haven't heard Pow Wow Punk Rock, I'll play a quick clip and then go right into my talk with Gabe. So check this out. This is Tribes and Tribulations off Punk Rock 1, Pow Wow Punk Rock 1. All right, here we go. I'm with Gabe Colhoff of 1876. Really appreciate Gabe taking the time to talk with me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hey Gabe, do you mind just kind of giving yourself an introduction and kind of like your background, like, tribal affiliation and where you're at now?
Yeah. Like you said, my name is Gabe Colhoff. I'm Northern Cheyenne and Blackfeet from Montana. I live in Portland, Oregon. Because of all these all these pretendians lately, I will say that I'm enrolled Northern Cheyenne. There's been so much of this lately. I just want to make it clear. I'm enrolled Northern Cheyenne, and I'm Blackfeet. My mom's Blackfeet, my dad's Northern Cheyenne. But yeah, from Portland, Oregon. Born and raised here. You could probably hear it in my voice. You can see it on me. But I sing and play guitar and play all the instruments actually in 1876 currently. I haven't been able to get a band together, but I created this project on my own. It's called 1876. It's Pow Wow Punk Rock, which is the mix of powwow music and punk rock. And I sing all the powwow music. I write all the powwow music, and I sing and write all the punk rock music. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I was just telling you before, I recently came across 1876 not too long ago, and picked up some music off your Bandcamp site, and really enjoy it. And I just want to kind of go back. I actually found that you have a lot of you've done a lot of interviews with other like you know like podcasts and like other I guess you could say outlets. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I got a chance to listen to some of them. But just kind of going back to your background, you said you grew up in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you mind just kind of talking about how like your experience, growing up there was? I guess you could say it's kind of like an urban Indian experience. Would you say?
Kind of. Yeah. I tend to stay away from the phrase urban Indian because personally, when I think of an urban Indian, I think of like crystals and like dreads and stuff like that, like kind of a hippie version of an Indian. But I say city Indian. I have a whole like branding thing of that, CTYNDN, city Indian, because I grew up as traditional as you can get in the city. I actually grew up sweating and stuff Cheyenne way and singing Cheyenne songs. And my parents did a really, really good job making sure that I stayed with my traditions of my people. And we all did the best we could with what we had out here. Growing up in this city particularly is like, Portland is one of the white. I'm sorry, I'm drinking coffee. Portland is one of the whitest cities like I've ever been to, and I always joke with people because I'm half white, so I appear white, and so I tell people Portland's so white that even the Indians here are white. Like, but yeah, not only is it a super white city, the Indians out here are not Plains Indians. They're river people. So their traditions are all different than mine. Their artwork is all different than mine. Their culture and it's all different. Like ceremonies are all different. Everything's different. So I outside of my family, I had a very small community. There's more Cheyennes and more Sioux and more Blackfeet out here now. But when I was a kid, there wasn't that many out here. In fact, I can name the exact families that were here. That's how small it was. So, yeah, kind of lonely growing up as a Plains Indian out here.
Yeah. Did you get
as a Cheyenne.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to go back and forth between like Portland and Montana when you were young?
Oh yeah, I go back to my res as often as possible. When I was a kid, it's kind of like anybody who lives off the res kind of knows this story. Like I would really only go back to the res for funerals, unfortunately, because we're poor, so we don't have money to travel. It's expensive to travel. My parents had 3 kids, and I'm the youngest. So to go back to the res was a big deal. It was a lot of time, a lot of money. We're a working class family, so we really only went back for ceremonies we'd really only go back for funerals or for giveaways. And sometimes for ceremonies. My dad started going through ceremonies and we'd go back for that. But as an adult, I go back as often as possible now. Browning, my mom's res is Browning. That's where she's from. That's only like 10 hours away, but my dad's from Busby/Lame Deer, and that's like 19, 20 miles away from here, or 19 or 20 hours away from here.
Wow.
So it's a lot harder to get to Lame Deer than it is Browning. So I go to Browning more.
Okay. Yeah, I can somewhat relate to that. Out here, we have a lot of like communities or small towns that surround the Navajo reservation. We just call them like border towns. So I guess you could say like me and my siblings were like border town Navajos. We only had to travel like 2 hours away to go visit family on the res. So yeah, like you said, like for like holidays, ceremonies, or if someone passed away. But do you think like you're kind of like the way the music you make now, you think that's kind of like all that the sounds that you created with 1876 is just like a reflection of how you grew up in Portland?
Yeah, I think so. More than anything, it's what I wanted to hear as a kid. It's the type of representation I wanted. I knew that Indians were out in the punk clubs because I was out there. I was in a punk band I started a punk rock band when I was 13. So I was out in the punk clubs playing shows, but I never saw anybody who represented where I came from. And I guess it just took this long for me to represent myself and represent where I come from. But I never heard any of the music that I make, and that's what I really wanted. So I would say, like, I had this design for a while that I was kind of pushing that said, what did it say? Something about punk rock and sweat lodges. I can't remember what it said, but it was something cool. But that's because it was basically what it was for me growing up. We would sweat on Wednesdays, and I had band practice on Wednesday as well. And then sweat on Wednesday, sweat on Sunday, and play a show on Friday, play a show on Saturday, or go see a show on Saturday, play a show on Friday. And then there was like sweats in between those. So it was like, I just started seeing a similarity between sweats and punk clubs. Like, you are packed in with a bunch of people shoulder to shoulder, because we sweat Cheyenne way. So I know it's like different for Navajos, but for us, like, it's more people. It's not Sioux where there's like 3 rows of people, but it's more than Navajos, you know? So we are shoulder to shoulder with our own people. We're singing the same song together. And in punk clubs, like in the pit, they say if someone goes down, you bring them up. And it's the same in the sweat. When someone goes down in the sweat, you're there for them. You bring them up, you pull them up. So I just started seeing like that they were both so similar, and that punk rock culture, I guess, could be similar to Indian way in some ways. In some ways, it's absolutely different. But
I know you the sound that you described, Pow Wow Punk Rock. I was wondering, did you like grow up like dancing or singing at powwows when you were younger?
No, man. I went to powwows, but I never danced. I wanted to really bad, but when I was a kid, being like mixed white and appearing white, I got my ass kicked like a few times. And had I known there's going to be so many white-looking people dancing, I probably would have been more brave. But at the time, I remember being choked out like at a powwow by some kid, being called white boy.
Oh no.
So yeah, like I wanted to dance, but then by the time I got to age to dance, my dad started going through ceremonies. We couldn't even go to powwows anymore. For like 8 years, we couldn't go to powwows. So by the time that 8 years was over, I just wasn't that interested anymore.
Okay. Yeah, me and my brothers and sisters, we danced at powwows. I kind of feel like our parents just kind of made us do it. It was kind of like we didn't really have a choice. It was just like, here's your dance regalia, and here you go run around, or go pick it up. I kind of feel like it was just a way for like because like we grew up around like the border of the reservation, so I think the experience with the border town, it's pretty racist, like the towns around here. So I feel like I don't know, I never really asked my parents directly, but I kind of feel like going to powwows and being a part of that was like their way of like keeping us, connected, and like just that having that social interaction with other natives.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, as like grown up, it's kind of it gets harder and harder to go up and go back to powwows, and
for sure.
Yeah, but when I first heard 1876, just like the powwow drum, and you can hear like the bells, like the dancers, bells, and the jingles in the background, like so that's what really kind of like just caught my ear.
That's kind of the goal, man. I love powwows. Like, I love everything about a powwow, and I wish that there was a way to make, like, I wish I could sell a fragrance with my music, because if I could find a way to make like dirt, cigarette smoke, and oil, like cooking oil, all in one smell, like spray that and then listen to my music. Like that's what I want.
I think
love Pow Wow.
That sweaty buckskin smell is what reminds me of Pow Wows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, when we used to go to Pow Wows, like I used to dance like the like men's or boys or men's fancy, but yeah, it's just a workout. And I would just like completely sweat up my outfit. But yeah, going to Pow Wows, like, you know, I never really. I think around that time I was probably like in junior high, going to high school. I'd like discovered like new metal, like Korn and like Slipknot, and I think yeah, but you know, going to Pow Wows, I noticed it was more like hip hop. I feel like a lot of just like hip hop and country were, you know, just because like a lot of the older dancers or elderly are like, you know, country fans, and then the younger, I feel like it's all like the cool like hip hop kids that, you know, bring that to Pow Wow. But I never really saw like punk rock or metal being part of that.
Yeah, I had the same experience. Like, man, I don't know. My brothers and I were probably the only ones. For a long time, were the only ones at Pow Wows with mohawks.
Yeah, that's cool because like yeah, you know, the way a lot of the Pow Wow dancers, you know, they have like beadwork, they have beaded vests. I always thought that would like be a cool thing to bring to like punk or metal, like, you know, when people have their vests, you know, have it all beaded in the back and, you know, make it indigenous. So,
have you seen mine?
I haven't, no.
Mine's I did that. It's not fully beaded like it is at a Pow Wow.
Yeah. But
it's like I put beadwork on I beaded my vest a little bit on one side.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I always thought it was interesting because my brother and I would get made fun of when we had mohawks, and I was like, "You guys are wearing roaches, man! Like, it's the same thing. I don't understand."
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I wish I could kind of go back, but now it's hard. I mean, I think ever since the pandemic, I think the Pow Wows are slowly starting to come back. But yeah, hopefully I can, you know, at least get back into shape to do that again. Going back to like your music, like what was your exposure to like, I guess, you know, playing music in general, and then maybe like exposure to like punk music?
Yeah, I've always just been interested in music. Like, as far back as I can remember, I've always just been fascinated. I can remember the exact moment that music like made sense to me, which was my dad worked at the BIA, and my mom and I were there to pick him up, and I was like maybe 4 or 5, maybe something like that. I wasn't in school, so whatever age that is. And my mom was listening to Purple Rain by Prince, like the album. And the song When Doves Cry came on. And in the song, he says, maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Or no, what is it? Maybe you're just like my father. Or something like that. What is it? Maybe it's something like that. And I just remember thinking, like, I know exactly what that feels like. Like, I know exactly what he's feeling. And then when he says these words, it's the same thing I feel. And I was like a little kid. And so then I was like, oh, this is music. And then not too long after that, Losing My Religion by REM came on the radio. And then in that song, they say, that's me in the corner, that's me in the spotlight, losing my religion. And I remember thinking, well, I've been put in the corner before for being in trouble. And I'm indigenous, like I'm Indian, and we lost our religion. And I was a kid. So I don't know what was wrong with my brain that I was thinking like that so young, but I just understood, like, this is what music is. They're describing something that we all feel. And from then on, I was just like hooked, like on all kinds of music. So like flash forward to like maybe 10 years old, 12 years old, I got a guitar, and it was just on from there. Any instrument I could get my hands on, I learned how to play, and I just go ham sandwich on it. Yeah. Oh, but punk rock music, I forgot you asked that part. Punk rock music I first heard probably I think my first introduction probably around like 9 or 10 years old, and it was like pop punk, like Blink-182, Green Day, that kind of stuff. Because my older brother was my oldest brother. He's 9 years older than me. He was super into grunge and like he was just a teenager, so he was on the cutting edge of all the music coming out. So when grunge was big, he was really into grunge, and when ska and punk started making a comeback in the 90s, he was super into that. So I heard all that stuff from him. And then my other brother, who's 4 years older than me, he was super into like Master P and Tupac, Biggie, Bone Thugs. Like, so I heard all that from him. We shared a room. So I listened to a lot of hip hop and stuff from that brother, and the other one listened to a bunch of alternative and punk rock. So I kind of discovered it all at once. And then my mom listened to Prince, and my dad liked Michael Bolton.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like, I feel like when I was growing up, I went to a dorm for Native kids. It's like for high school in Flagstaff, Arizona. There's this dorm for Native kids who live on the res to go to school, and then they attend like the public school, Flagstaff High School, but then they stay at the dorm, and our parents would drop us off. But I feel like it was so segregated by the way we liked music. Like I feel like the country like rodeo kids were in one section, then there was like the hip hop kids, and then like the punk and metal kids were kind of together. But I always felt like I had to choose between I always felt like I don't know, maybe it was just my mindset back then. Like I always thought like I was only allowed to listen to one thing, so then I just kind of stuck with metal. But I know there was a lot of like punk kids. I think around that time was like when AFI was getting really popular. I remember a lot of kids listening to AFI at that time.
Yeah, I love AFI.
Nice. And then as far as like the getting 1876 started, like what was the when did that, or I guess what was the idea or situation or circumstance when you like decided to form 1876?
It was kind of like a long time in the making. The first time I ever thought about mixing powwow drums with punk rock, I was in a punk ska band with my oldest brother called the Closet Monsters, and we had a song called Revolution, which was about indigenous people. This was like 2009, I think, or 2010. And the song was saying that we as indigenous people, like, our time is coming, and it was like land back and all that stuff. Before that was a coined phrase, we were just writing this song saying like, our time is coming. Like, it's time for us to overthrow and be the people we know who we are. And the song had just a like straightforward four to the floor drum beat, and I was the drummer at the time of that band. And I remember thinking, if the bass drum is like a 4 count, then why don't we just use powwow drums? The song's about being Indian. Like, why don't we use powwow drums? Because that's the same rhythm. And so we did. We brought my mom's powwow drum, her old. You ever heard of the Black Lodge Singers?
The powwow drum group?
Yeah, so my mom grew up with them. They're like kind of relatives. We're Gardapies on the Blackfeet side, so we're related to some of them, some of the Eagle speakers. And they made my mom this drum when she was a kid. They used to come practice at my grandma's house. And so this drum we took to this old school drum made with horsehide. We took it to the studio and we recorded with it. And that was the first time I mixed powwow music with punk rock. But for some reason, it didn't make it to the final cut. I have no idea why. I still don't know why. But it just didn't make it to the final version. So that was the very, very first time. And that, like I said, that was like 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. And then after that, it was just like, I would talk about it all the time with people and be like, we should do that more. Like, this is a sick idea. I think it would be really cool, blah, blah, blah. And everyone would tell me, like, I don't think that'll work, man. I don't think that'll mix. I don't think people want to hear it, blah, blah, blah. So flash forward to like 2000, probably 17, 18, maybe 2019, somewhere around there. I started just writing songs, and I was super angry because I was dealing with a lot of stuff, like a lot of racism and things like that, because the city had just turned at that point. And so I was just writing all this stuff and writing punk rock music and putting powwow drums in there in my head, trying to record it on this laptop that I had, and this laptop just kept crashing. And every time it would crash, it would erase all my music. So I got all the way. I bought a new laptop and was working on it, and I got all the way to the end of what I thought was going to be my first EP, and the computer crashes and erased everything.
Oh, no.
And I was just, dude, oh my God, I lost it. Like, I threw my laptop. I was so pissed. I went to the what are they called, the geeks or the nerds,
the
or
Geek
something
Squad
like
or something like that from
yeah, those guys. Yeah, I went there and I gave them my laptop and I told them what was going on, and they went to the back and they came out, and it was like a movie. It's so dramatic, but it was like a movie there. Like, we did everything we could. We couldn't get the files. And like silent. Like, my brain went silent. I couldn't hear. I could see their mouths moving, but I couldn't hear anything. And so, yeah, I lost it. I was on my motorcycle riding home, and I was just like screaming in my helmet, just obscenities and stuff, super upset. And I got all the way home, and like, I think my birthday is in March. And so for March of 2020, my wife bought me a computer, like a computer. And she was like, I think you can do what you want to do with this. She gave it to me. And then I just, like the first weekend after I got the computer, I just recorded like everything, and it all came out. So it just, for whatever reason, divine intervention, it seems like, because two laptops crashed while trying to make this music, or maybe I mean, like, I grew up traditional. I'm very connected with the spirit world. So maybe I was just doing something incorrectly, and the spirit world was like, nah, dude, like, you can't do that. But for whatever reason, 2020 was the year that this all came out, and was able I was able to push it all out.
Yeah, that's the Pow Wow Punk Rock one.
Yeah, the very first EP.
Awesome. Yeah, and I saw that you released a Pow Wow Punk Rock 2 last year, and then you did some singles in between. I was wondering, like, do you have any, like, on physical format, like tapes or CDs?
I have like 4 left of the first EP. The second EP, I didn't make physical copies because the first one didn't do that well, and it's kind of like expensive.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think. People just kept telling me, like, yeah, I don't really listen to CDs anymore. Like,
oh man, I'm such a hoarder for physical tape, CDs, and records. I don't know. I would love to get my hands on one. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll send you one.
All right. Yeah, for sure. I'll yeah, after we're done talking, like, we can kind of exchange information. But yeah, no, I'm such a big fan of, like, physical, like, media. Maybe it's just because I'm like, well, I'm in like my mid 30s now, but like, just CDs to me were huge. Like, especially like when I was going to high school, staying at the dorm, and I just, having a CD just to look at, and I like to listen to tracks all the way through. And sometimes, with like streaming now, I tend to like shuffle and skip around, but I kind of feel like, just to do the artists, their justice, I need to listen from beginning to end. But yeah, I would love to have a full physical copy.
Yeah, man, I'll send it to you for sure. I was also a really big fan of CDs, man. Like, the artwork and everything. Like, you flip through the pamphlet and you look at all the cool art that they would put on there. I would look at I read the lyrics and look at who produced it, all that stuff, man. Yeah. And what was really cool was, like, when you meet a new friend or you meet a chick or something, and you're like, oh, let me look through your CD collection. So you get to know them.
That was big. I remember, like, just going on field trips in high school, like bringing your little CD booklet and then, like, having someone flip through it. It was always like I always got a good feeling, like, showing people my CD case.
Yeah, you're like badass. You're like, oh yeah, oh man, that CD, yeah, I barely listen to it anymore. And I'm like, oh.
Or there's like something embarrassing in there, like, oh fuck, I forgot to take that out. Oh, shit.
No, NSYNC, that's not mine.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's awesome. I would love to have a CD. Yeah, I think even just for me, I especially like bands who are like who play like metal or yeah even like punk and just any kind of like heavy music who have like
Yeah.
indigenous like influences like those. I always try to get my hands on like a physical copy.
Oh yeah. Have you heard of Merciless Indian Savages?
Yeah, they're from Arizona. Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah.
badass. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I spoke to the their singer. I think his name's Corey Ashley a year ago on this. But yeah, they're awesome. I love them.
Yeah, dude, those guys, they hit hard, man.
Yeah.
I hope to see them one day.
Yeah, I seen them live. They played a live show in Gallup, New Mexico, which is like 30 miles from here. There's one
Nice.
band that I really dig. They got like punk rock, like a skate punk and like like a Norwegian black metal like fusion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're called Homeland. I think their members are from around the Phoenix area, Phoenix, Arizona. I want to say
Oh,
they're
okay.
Apache, but yeah, they're really sick. It's like a mix between, I don't know if you are into like Norwegian black metal bands, but it's like a mix between like Dark Throne and like Bad Religion. It's really cool.
Oh, okay. Actually, I actually know who Dark Throne is.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
It's like those like
super into the scene, but yeah, I know them.
yeah, yeah. It's like that the tremolo like riffing with like kind of like that like skate punk like rhythm. So
Yeah,
it's really
that's
cool.
sick, dude. Do you know who Trixie Coyote is?
No, no. Uh,
That's a Navajo kid. I can't remember where, like, what area they're from, but super talented kid, man. I think like maybe like 20 years old, but plays like all the instruments. Like has a super unique voice. You should definitely look into them
oh
because
heck yeah.
I believe they're Navajo.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Um, yeah, no, I just enjoy that and um, yeah, I just because a lot of times like the lyrics and like the imagery, just a lot of it just comes from their tribal background, and I just really appreciate that. Um,
Yeah,
and then as far as like I know you released the single, right? The Bougie Natives. I found that online.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you have any other singles coming out or any future releases in the near future?
yeah. So on March 18th, next Friday, was my birthday. The I have a new single called "Great Escape," and it's coming out. It's coming out that day, but it's just a video that's coming out. So the song won't be available until my next EP, which there is going to be a Pow Wow Punk Rock 3. It's coming out on June 26th, which is a Sunday, I believe. June 26th, 2023 will be Pow Wow Punk Rock 3. So that song will be, you can hear that song, you can watch the video next Friday, March 18th, but it won't be available it'll only be available on the EP, which is coming out in June.
Oh, nice. And do you have any like plans for any live appearances or live shows?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a band together. It was a little difficult, and it's becoming difficult again. There's a second there where it was all working out really well, and then it became difficult again. Trying to get a band together, trying to find a practice space, and I want to play a CD release for the EP. So I'm hoping to play a show on June 25th before the EP comes out on Sunday, on June 26th. But yeah, that's proving to be a little more difficult than I had planned.
Okay. Yeah, I hope you can get some people out there. Is there a lot of like I'm sure there's a lot of musicians in your area, but I guess they probably you guys all have to coordinate like have the same schedules, but yeah,
Yeah.
I've never played in a band or played any music. I've just always been a big fan. And then which is kind of why I started this like podcast thing. But yeah, that's cool, man. I really hope you can get some people together. to, jam out and, start playing some live shows.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too. That's definitely the next step. It's the most important thing to me is at least playing like 4 or 5 shows. Just get out there. I want people to see, like, it's one thing to hear the music. It's another thing to see it and to see Indians on a stage. I personally just want to see a powwow drum in a punk rock club. That's my goal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know, like, I don't know if you're like, if you go to a lot of powwows, but I know like the joke about, powwows is like the after party's the 49. It'd be like punk rock 49. Yeah.
Yeah. Turn a bunch of Blink-182 songs and like Simple Plan, like love songs into 14.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. But yeah, I think I've kind of gone through most of my questions. I always ask this for people towards the end, but is there any like new bands or any hidden gems that you want to recommend to listeners?
Man. Well, like I said, I already mentioned Merciless Indian Savages and Trixie Coyote. Big fans of them, both from your area. Observer Syndrome is really good friends of mine. They're from LA. They're LA punk rock band. They're kind of like they're a little more on the metal side, so you might actually be into them because they're sick, dude. But I think I would say they're more metal than punk. Who else? I know I have like a list of bands in my head, but I can never just pull it out right away. I have like a old man Indian brain. Greg Deal. I don't know if you know who Greg Deal is, but he's an Indian guy from Colorado. He has a side project he's calling Dead Pioneers.
Oh,
so he's like
awesome.
Yeah. You know about him?
No, just that name, Dead Pioneers. I'm in already.
Oh,
the name, I'm sold by their name.
He has they have one song out, so he's a multimedia artist. So he does like all kinds of different art shows and things like that, performance arts and things like that. But he just started this music project. They have one song out called Bad Indian, and it's like a spoken word, kind of like punk rock-ish type of song. Pretty good, pretty funny. It's got really good thoughtful moments and really good funny moments all in like 4 minutes of music. It's pretty sick. I don't know, man. I know there's a few that I'm missing, and I apologize to any of my musician friends if I didn't mention you. But yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Lately there's one band that came across my, my ears. They're called Hell Throne. I think their members are Navajo. They're all from Phoenix, and yeah, they play like thrash metal, like Slayer. It's
nice.
Super badass. I think they just released an EP. I think last week. It's digital on like Spotify and like the various like streaming platforms. But they're awesome. I think they're gonna play a show next Saturday in Gallup, New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
So I definitely want to check them out. Or yeah, everyone should check them out. And then
dude,
oh yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. I was going to say I remembered one. It's Darksiders. I don't know how I forgot this. We're working on a song together right now. And I have like, I have all this information laid out in front of me about the song that all says Darksiders on it. And I forgot to mention Darksiders. Okay. Definitely check Darksiders from Nevada.
Awesome.
The EDM guy. But he mixes it, like he does, what is it called? Like dark, it has a name, but it's like dark EDM. It's sick, dude. Anyway, we're working on a song together, so cool. Check him out.
Awesome. Yeah, any any shout outs or recognitions or, just words of encouragement in general?
I do want to say that I appreciate all the love that I get from Navajo country. Like, I don't know what it is, but man, Navajos they're showing me a lot of love. So I appreciate all of Navajo country just getting behind my music and seeing my vision before other people are, before some people in my own tribe. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to Navajo country and for being so supportive of me and my music. and I hope to make it out there. I hope to play a show there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I know you're going to get a group of people together and you're going to start playing shows. But yeah, definitely, make your way out here. There's
absolutely
plenty of places around here to play, and you definitely have a lot of listeners now. And then, what's the best way for listeners to support 1876?
You can stream my music anywhere you stream music. I don't get paid from any of that because it's just the way the streaming works. So if you want to financially support me, you can buy merch on 1876band.com, 1876band.com. I have a bunch of merch there that I designed and make myself, and it's right next to me right now. So when you order it, I send it right away. It doesn't come from like a factory or whatever. It comes from me. Bandcamp, you can, if you want to buy my music, you can buy my music on Bandcamp. But the best support would be just telling as many people as you possibly can about my music. Any platform that you have, let everybody know on that platform about my music, that there's an Indian out here making Pow Wow Punk Rock. I'm the only Pow Wow Punk Rock, the world's only Pow Wow Punk Rock band, musician. And I think it's something that the world needs to hear. And if you believe that too, then let the world know. And I think that covers it. Oh, follow me on Instagram, 1876BAND, at 1876BAND. Follow me, because that also helps. Because that's where all my information, that's the only way I communicate with people is Instagram.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Everyone should follow 1876. Yeah, stream, support Gabe and his musical projects. All right. Thanks again. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recorder, but I'll keep you on.
Okay.
That was my talk with Gabe Colhoff from 1876. Thanks again, Gabe, for reaching out to me. I really appreciate it. Be sure to follow Gabe and 1876 on Instagram at 1876band. Also pick up some music on the 1876band.bandcamp.com. You can stream on some of the various streaming platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. Also, importantly, pick up some merchandise. There's some really cool, badass shirt designs on 1876band.com. Also, there's some really cool stickers, some earrings. So yeah, be sure to support the band and Gabe, and be on the lookout for a new single coming out. I think first it's going to be a music video, and then a song that will be able to stream. So be on the lookout for The Great Escape on March 18th. So I'm going to play a track from the last single, which was Bougie Natives. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And then stay tuned. I'm going to, just kind of spread my love for the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball. All right, so check out Bougie Natives. Here we go. Check beads, all shining. And if you don't know, I'm Blackfeet Northern Cheyenne. City where I ended grinding, fresh to death without trying. Beat the chains up on my neck and circle picking violent. Every day that I open my eyes, I rise with the sun. The creator that I'm alive in my tribe, they don't run. Put a cloud of sweet pine in the sky with a song. Put honey on my fried bread, take a bite and it's on. I've been weaving through the city on my bike and riding easy past the feds. They don't see me cause the medicine on me. It's long enough to keep all of the bullshit at bay. Cause if I get a ticket, should you know I can pay. Broke as fucking bougie cause I was born with the taste. For greatness cause of the mud from the land that I was made. It's in my blood and it's riches that you can never take. I know it's in my family and I know it's in me. I know bullies, I know beasts, I know criminals and thieves. And I know a couple cousins even bougier than me. I create my own wealth, my beat a jewelry, got no dealer. I do it myself.
myself, I guess I'm just a master beater, we them bougie natives. I got turquoise on my wrist, we the bougie natives. Fire lit up on my fist, we the bougie natives. Big hat with the brim, we the bougie natives. I got that custom made bling, we the bougie natives. You see them as we glass and say, we the bougie natives. All my knowledge in my brain, we the bougie natives. You see them as we glass and say, we the bougie natives. It's the cold to feel what I say.
All right. Yeah. Thanks again, everyone. For those listening still, thanks again. Not everyone's a, sports fan, but I just want to quickly recognize University of Arizona Wildcats basketball, both men's and women. The men's, they went to Las Vegas and won the Pac-12 tournament, beat Stanford, then beat Colorado, then beat UCLA on Saturday night. That UCLA game was too close for comfort. I was actually getting really anxious and getting really nervous when I saw they were like down by 12 points before halftime. But they were able to cut the lead to 5 right before halftime, and then second half just continued to dominate. There's a lot of athletic players, and that really showed. And I just hope that our point guard Kirk Carissa can get healthy. They don't need to bring them back right away. I feel like, since they're the 1 seed, they'll be playing like, one of the 16th seed teams. So, they really don't need to rush them back. But, if all goes well, they'll play Friday and Sunday in San Diego and then next weekend in San Antonio. And, I just don't want to, get too far ahead of myself. I'm really, really excited for this team. I feel like ever since 2017, like the U of A Wildcats were just in a downward spiral. Now that Sean Miller is out, thankfully, he's just not a good coach, honestly. Like, he blew it. Like 2017, like the NCAA committee, like made it so easy for U of A to get to the Final Four. He couldn't even beat his old freaking assistant in, Chris Mack of Xavier. That was pitiful. And, 2018 got destroyed by Buffalo in the first round. That was embarrassing. And then 2019, there was no appearance there. And, 2020, we all know what happened. The tournament got canceled. Last year, U of A had that self-imposed ban, so weren't able to participate. This is a really good time of year for Arizona Wildcat fans. So really hope they do well, and the women's as well. Last year the women's team made it all the way to the women's championship, and just lost to Stanford. But they're back again this year. They're a number 4 seed, and hopefully they can, carry on that success from last year. So thanks again for listening. And like I said, I just want to save this for last. All right, bear down.